and welcome to the show. This is Jitters, and I just basically wanted to have a little conversation with you guys about my thoughts on the Classic experience so far, what we've been experiencing as a community when it comes to Classic as a game, and also the stress test that I was able to be a part of. I was able to join in the first two stress tests, and I basically wanted to kind of get my thoughts and feelings out there about it because, to be honest, I've been kind of working on a script for this, but I'm not exactly sure. It's taking a bit more time than I really wanted it to take, and I haven't found as much time as I really wanted to really sit down and edit a video. So this is just going to be some footage in the background of me playing in the beta. Not a lot of bells and whistles in this video. It's going to be more of a conversation with you guys because it's getting further and further from that point where the stress test actually took place, and I just haven't found the time to really sit down and really articulate exactly how I want to do this with the script. So hopefully you'll forgive me if this is more of a meandering conversation with you guys. But I really want to get my thoughts out there on this subject anyways. So yeah, basically I've been part of the stress test for a bit, and for the first two stress tests, and that was a lot of fun. I did have some troubles getting into the servers. And by the way, I do not have beta access, so I'm just, sitting there watching it on Twitch just like most of you guys out there. It really is unfortunate. I will get that out of the way first and foremost, that I realized that the chances of me getting into the beta were actually very, very small. I do have an account that was active ever since that time period in vanilla, because my brother and I kind of both played this account at the time and everything, and then we eventually had two accounts on the same BattleNet. So I have been, basically playing this account ever since vanilla WoW. But yeah, unfortunately, I did not get beta access, but to be honest, that's most people. Most people in this world actually did not get beta access, and it just feels like that's just kind of what we have to accept at this point, unless there's some magical blue post that falls from the sky that gives us all beta access. That's just where we are right now, which is totally fine. But I feel like I'm just, I feel like I still have a cool position where I got to take part in that stress test, and that was a lot of fun for me because I still got a little taste and everything like that. So I've been watching the footage and everything like that, but then all of a sudden I got in the stress test and I was able to log on after a bit of time staring at the login screens and the character creation and everything like that. There was a bit of that hiccup there, but at the same time, that is what the stress test was for. So basically, I was not annoyed at that part of the stress test. I know that there were people that immediately lost their shit, couldn't handle it, they weren't acting like adults at all, and then they just immediately went on to blame Blizzard because the stress test was stressed. So yeah, I get the meme where people are so stressed they're pulling their hair out during the stress test. Yeah, that's totally fine. I get there are fun jokes to be made from it, but then also when people were literally, some people were actually mad, and it was very strange to me how people were actually mad when it came to a stress test, because first of all, the max level was 5. You're not missing out on much. You're gonna get into the stress test and maybe you're gonna make it to level 5, but to be honest, you're not going to be even able to kill any mobs. There were so many people in the starting zones. So I mean, it was just there was a lot of feedback there that was not very useful for even as a community, for how other people felt, and especially not useful to Blizzard as a developer. Yeah, they know that you're stuck in character creation. Guess what? I was stuck in character creation, but you know what I did? I went to Twitter and I just said, hey, I'm just stuck in character creation, I'll try again. And I was just posting this in Wowhead's, little thing, because I thought maybe some Blizzard employees would be checking on Wowhead. But even then, that's what the stress test is for. And then once I did get into the game, every time I DC'd, I would just submit a little bug saying, hey, I was DC'd for X reason. And then, oh, but hey, this time I got into the game a little bit quicker. So, I was notating what time it happened and what triggered the DC. or if I was able to get into character creation and everything like that. So basically, my story is at the beginning of the stress test, I was able to basically play around with character creation. I got into the servers okay after like an hour, but it wouldn't let me create a character. So I was actually staring at character creation for probably another hour or so. And that was basically very interesting because I kept trying different alliance races with different class combinations. So I was trying to make my human paladin, trying to make my, oh, but then, you know what, I'll switch it up. So I'll go try to make a dwarf priest. Okay, that's not working. How about a gnome warlock? Nope, not working. Okay, night elf hunter. Okay, that's not working either. So, I was trying to do a bunch of different things. And I was watching a stream at the time. I was watching SVand as he was playing, and everything, and I was just having fun watching them, because it's a community. This is everyone in the community. So I was on Twitter looking at people's updates, and I was looking at streams, and I was seeing people enjoying their time, or seeing other people just staring at their screens all day because they couldn't get into the game. And I thought, okay, yeah, I'm a part of this. I'm still a part of this event, even if I'm not technically playing the game right now. I am still participating. But you see, I think that's the different mindset you had to go into it with. I think that you had to go into the game, into that stress test with that mindset of, hey, there's no guarantee that this game is going to work tonight, but that's the whole entire point, is just to help Blizzard out with, I don't think that they thought this game was going to be so popular. I truly believe that they're not ready for the amount of people that are going to be playing this game. I think that that's a wonderful idea that they had to at least implement stress tests, because obviously they weren't prepared for this type of shit. With how messy the stress tests were, I think that people are getting just absolutely mad, but at the same time, this is the first stress test, and I seriously think they're undervalued how much this game would be loved by the community, and by not just the community of players, but also new players that are very, very interested. They've heard the legacy of what this game was. So I think that this is a new generation of players. I was listening to a podcast where they were talking about, it was Asmongold, who's basically saying, yeah, these kids who are playing Fortnite right now are going to want to play, and it seems like the WoW faithful just don't think that that's true, but there are very talented gamers in their generation as well, and I'd say they're probably going to be some of the best gamers we've ever had in history, because they grew up with it to such a technical level. So yeah, I think that they're going to get really, really interested in a somewhat more hard. To be honest, a classic WoW was made to be a casual game when it came to MMOs back then, but in today's standards, it actually is a hardcore, somewhat hardcore game. Even though you can play it casually, and there's nothing wrong with playing classic WoW casually. You definitely can do it. The truth is that you're actually not. You're not exposed to games nowadays that are really all that difficult. Games like Dark Souls these days and age, and like Cuphead, those games were like legendary status because of their difficulty. Because we're in a game world now where the communities just kind of buy their shit and then just kind of go and play it, or all they need to do is play it, and everyone's at an equal playing field with gear and weapons and shit like that. So time dedicated to the game is just all that matters now, because if you just dedicate more time, you're just naturally better and faster at the game. So there you go. Whereas back then, there used to be actual difficulty included with the time you spent playing the game. So I'm not claiming that Fortnite is an easy game to play. I'm not personally a fan, so I don't know much about Fortnite at all. But I definitely know that in this generation of gamers that are active nowadays, they are definitely looking for something like Classic WoW that will give them much more of a challenge, when every game these days just comes and goes like, in the breeze. It just floats away, and everyone's playing, a different game the new month. So Classic WoW is that dedicated experience that people get to experience. So I know I said experience twice, but it's an MMO. What can you say? It's just grinding experience all day anyways, which you didn't get to do much of in the stress test. I'll get back to the stress test now. I know I went on a bit of a tangent there, but I thought that was worth mentioning, that there will definitely be a new generation of gamers coming back to this game here for the first time. So it's going to be really cool. Other than that, I think the stress test went about as expected. In my personal opinion, it's how I expected it, because I seriously thought that the stress tests were not going to, that I do think Blizzard is definitely undervaluing what they have here. So it's going to be a big deal. So yeah, basically, once I got into character creation, I couldn't make any alliance characters for about an hour. So that was an hour of staring, trying to get into the game. Then about another hour or so of staring at character creation, failed character creation over and over. And then a DC, got to log back in, character creation again, failed character creation. But then I went to Undead, and I made an Undead priest, and first try, I got into the world. So honestly, it was just like, I think it takes a bit of luck to get into the servers. I think it takes a bit of luck to generate enough, of a bandwidth, and then also, like, to hit that very, very sweet spot of where you switch to another race, and maybe that zone that you're trying to log into is not too populated at that very second. So when you hit enter world, boom, my undead had no problem being created. So I really don't know the 100% what the reason was, but I feel like if you experimented a little bit, if you're patient with the game, you didn't walk away and in frustration and then not try again for a couple of hours. I think if you were just dedicated enough, you kind of could secure your way in. But who knows? That's just my experience. I can't speak for any other experiences. A lot of the streamers I was watching, which everyone's talking about stream priority. I don't really get it, because there's plenty of YouTube creators, content creators that didn't get access right away. They eventually did, and maybe that's because of their YouTube status. But at the same time, I don't really care. I'm not going to begrudge somebody who gets into the game, and I'm not going to look for deep lying below the surface reasons of why they got in when I didn't. I think that, of course, they gave it to content creators because they are, of course, handing it to the people who can show off their product. That's what gaming companies do nowadays. I think that people who are, saying, oh, certain people shouldn't have got in, but I should have because I like this game a lot, is like, yeah, we all do. So I like this game a lot too, but I'm not going to sit there and go, I deserve a spot more than somebody else. I think that we all deserve spots somewhat equally, I do think that there does come with some seniority there, and that's fine. That's totally fine. I think that that's what this, type of game is. I'd rather somebody who gets, who has an actual love for the game gets to play it. You know what I mean? Whereas for me, I'm sitting there going, yeah, I understand, like, if I have to wait for the release date, then that's totally fine, because the truth is I'm just having fun watching the community. That's my point, is I'm not going to begrudge somebody who does get into the game, because hey, that means I get to watch their content and love what I'm seeing, and also they get to test things out for me that I don't have maybe the time to test out, or maybe these other players don't have time to test out either. But at the same time, these are all people that can at least show this off and at least give us different perspectives so that we can see what classes we want to play, or see how these different experiences go on either side of the coin, Horde or Alliance, and everything like that. So I got into the, basically I got into the Undead starting zone, and I had a good time. I had a really fun time running around. I wasn't able to kill very many things at all because it was spawning and the spawn rates were crazy. How something would spawn and you basically had to auto attack it as a caster because you didn't have enough time to get your fireball off. I mean, that's quite the experience. I was sitting there and I couldn't smite stuff, so I'd have to go up and hit it with my mace so that I could start casting smite, but at least I've tagged it. And it also forces you to group up with people. So yeah, so I didn't get to see the Ragnaros or anything like that Asmongold and all those guys got to see in the human starting zone. All we had was some hoggers that were basically guarding the gates outside to the exit from the Death Knell area, the Undead starting zone. Yeah, so basically we just had a bunch of hoggers standing there at that gate, and everyone was like, don't go there. So, I mean, it was a fun time still, but then I got to eventually make my, my human paladin. I got to run around with that. We got to make a conga line with the train and everything. And then we got to take that conga line into Stormwind, where we lagged out, and basically Stormwind was broken, so right when you cross into the entrance of Stormwind, you basically just start running in place, and you're totally stuck on like a 30-second to 60-second loop where you couldn't actually control your character. It just wasn't refreshing. So basically what I had to do was eventually I had to channel my Hearthstone while it was in that lag loop. So by the time it was done, when it refreshed, my character refreshed in the server, I started casting the Hearthstone. So that basically got me out of that. But yeah, and then after that, I got the character to like level 5, and I just had a fun time. I was just like, all right, this is cool. And I got to quest around with some friends. I made some friends that night, and it was really, really fun. It was a fun experience. I stayed up and I played it for, about 4 or 5 hours, and it was a lot of fun. There was like an hour there where we were just playing around in a conga line, and then an hour where I was just looking around and just enjoying the world and everything like that, and then like 2 hours of like trying to quest while I couldn't like get a tag on anything. But having a group of friends really helped out. We had a little bunch of buddies that we were all questing with, and that was a lot of fun. So yeah. Overall, the experience was very fun, and then I got to log on the second day, and basically I got to be there when the server ended. So when the server ended, I got to run into Stormwind, and I got to see some of the characters there. I got to see some really cool stuff. I died, but I got to see Patchwork, and I got to see Mechatork standing there in the center of the city. And that was really fun, with Ragnaros standing on top of the of the Stormwind Gate, Patchwork running around smacking us down, and then you've got all these players standing there and just having a great time looking around and everything like that. I mean, we had even a Major Domo just walking, running around, swimming in the lake underneath that bridge there. So I thought that was very, very fun. It was a very funny experience, and it was very cool to be there. Definitely cool to be there. All the skeletons laying on the ground and everything like that. Yeah, it definitely was fun. So honestly, at the end of the day, my thoughts are, first I have to say thank you, Blizzard, for giving us this opportunity. You should see I just love reading the chat when it comes to this game, because everyone is so excited to be here. Everyone's saying, when the servers are shutting down, I'll miss you all. Omar, you beast. You basically good luck with your invites, everybody. Thank you, Blizzard. Thank you, everybody. I miss you all already. It's just such a community. It's so many people that just want to be in this world together and be experiencing this together, and we really enjoy and appreciate the experience that we get together, and that's very fun. But there is also a caveat here where I do think the amount of players that have been able to access this game have been very disappointing. Not just me personally. It's not about me personally. I'm just looking at the numbers of people that really, really want to be in this game, playing this game right now, and even the players that are all in the beta. I'm seeing so many of these players and so much of these content creators basically saying there are not enough people. And I mean, thank God for the content creators, because first of all, they are the chillest group of people ever. I love Venruki, Nixium, Esfand. Asmon even is, acting like a baller. Swifty's back to his prime. And then there's just so many others that I'm not even mentioning. I'm not even mentioning Cargos and all those guys over there in Good Morning Azeroth. So, honestly, the content creation has been some of the best that I've been seeing, in a long time. And I just love the content creators in the community. And one of the things I love the most about some of these people, Venruki and Nixium were like some of the first ones to say it, is just, man, Blizzard, you should really include more people in here. Like, there's one downside. I love this game. I love this community. I'm having the time of my life. Thank you, Blizzard, for bringing this back. But what I'm hearing them say is basically, but if there's one issue I have with the game, it's just that there's not enough people in here with me. And here's the thing, it's 3 months from now, and then all those people are going to be in there. We're all going to be, enjoying the game, living life to its fullest. But at the same time, I think it's just that hype that we get with the facts that beta access was given to some people. I think that a lot more people were kind of expecting, oh, I have a better chance of getting this than we realistically did. I think that they, honestly, Blizzard didn't, they didn't say that they were going to give access to a lot of people. I think that they just said, we're giving out beta access, and everyone just thought, oh yay, well, I'll go to the page and I'll opt myself in, and then, my chances are at least pretty good, right? And if not, oh well, that kind of thing. But it really does feel like, there's actually maybe only like a 10% chance at this point I would even get an invite, because it seems like all their invites are out already. So they've already said we're slowing them down. So I don't even know, they didn't even confirm if they're actually stopping or if they're only giving out like 10 a day or 10 a week, like, who knows? Maybe they're not giving out any at all. Maybe they're giving out 100 a week and I didn't even realize it. But it feels like, I basically won't be able to play this game until classic release, but I will be involved in the stress tests, and who knows, they increased the level limit to 10, so maybe the next stress test will let you get to level 20. Who knows? But either way, there's not much of a point when it comes to the stress test for like leveling. It's only active for a day, and it's right there in the middle of the week, so it's a little inconvenient. And then other than that, I mean, you don't get much of a chance to level anyways. So I didn't get to level 10. Who got to level 10? I have no idea how many people would even have, the time in the middle of the week to push for level 10. Unless they just, are willing to stay up all night. And I basically did the first night, but then that second test wasn't even scheduled. So I wasn't prepared for it that day. So I came home a little tired from work, and then boom, like I was able to get into the stress test, which I thought was beta access. But then it wasn't, because I didn't realize it was an unscheduled stress test. So basically, here I am thinking I got beta access. I'm like, oh my god, I'm in. And then I log in and I'm in the stress test server. I'm like, oh. Yeah, so that's what happened to me, but at the same time, hey, that's part of the experience. The truth is that's what, beta is. It's beta. It's not the real game, and we got to be patient and wait for the game. And I think that wait will be definitely worth it. I'm so excited for the game to come out and for us to explore this world again. I think that just so many of us are so excited already that we're just like, oh gosh, waiting is the worst feeling ever. There's not even a chance that I get to get in there, get some of my teeth in the content so that I know for sure what I want to level or what I want to play and main. So now, of course, you're not able to get to max level now, but you are able to get to, level 30 in the beta, so you get to at least cut your teeth a bit there. But overall, guys, I've had a lot of fun, not just in the stress test, because honestly, that's not much experience like playing the game. That's just you're testing out the servers. You're trying to help Blizzard out because you're just logging in, and then you get DC'd, and then you log in again, and you just keep fucking logging in that whole time, because what that does is that just shows them how much server strength that they need. Sure, you're not a beta tester, so you're not in the thousands of people. You're in the Sure, you're not a, beta tester, so you're not in the thousands of people that are in there, like the 2,000 to 5,000. There's so many different numbers being thrown around there, but I don't think it's even close to 10,000 players in the world. You know what I mean? Could be. All of a sudden, certain people are coming out with their content, but that I didn't think that they would get a beta access. But then at the same time, it could have been that they filmed their footage in the stress test. So I really don't know. either way, though, it seems like, we'll just have to wait for August. Unless all of a sudden a blue post comes out, in the next month, in the next 2 months, where Blizzard is like, hey guys, we're going to give you all some access for a month, and then we're going to shut down beta for 2 weeks, and then we're going to launch the game. There you go. So that could definitely be... It could definitely be an option where Blizzard just goes, hey, guess what? We're just gonna give everybody access for, about 3 weeks or something like that. That's enough, 3 weeks is enough to get to level 30 if you're pretty dedicated. Because it's only a third of the leveling experience. It's very interesting how the leveling works in Classic, because 3 weeks is enough to kind of get yourself to level 30, or at least try different classes till level 15, and you get to try like maybe 5 classes and get them to level 15, and stuff like that. So, I think it would be, maybe not even 5 classes, maybe, 3 or 2, go at your own pace. That's what Classic's about. Play one class if you want. That's what most people will be doing, because you need to have your one main. This is Classic. You can't have a bunch of alts. I mean, it's not that type of game. You got to put in a lot of time and effort for one. So I think a lot of us are just looking for that chance to experience the classes so that we can really just get a feel for what class we want to play. But overall, it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is we're going to get the game, and we're going to hang out together and have that experience together, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So those are my thoughts. I just really wanted, this is one of those longer videos where there's not a whole lot of, action, not a lot of production value, but this is more just a conversation I wanted to have with you guys. My thoughts on the beta experience overall. Great experience. Wish that more people were in the game, but at the same time, I understand you want to keep hype up for the game, and hell, I'm having such a great time just watching videos and having a little piece of the little bite size of the experience in the stress test. So overall, very happy that I was involved, but I do understand if people are a little upset that they couldn't log in or couldn't get their own access to the beta as well. People are pretty desperate for this game right now. They've been waiting for it for a long time, and the fact that it's almost here is just getting people antsy and antsier and antsier every single day. So yeah, basically those are my thoughts. Thanks a lot for listening, guys. I really appreciate it if you made it this far. Let me know what you think about the experience. If you are angry that you couldn't get in, or you got in and you had a great time, or hey, maybe you're not that interested in Classic, you're just kind of checking it out, seeing what's what. Thanks a lot, you guys. Really appreciate it. Have a great day.